Assalamualaikum. My name is Roshan
Waalaikumsalam.
Bashir and I am the co-director at Startup Grind Saiwal. Today we will be having a great workshop on resilience and embarrassing change with the Farah Saad. But firstly, let me continue with the formal introduction of our guest speaker. So Farah Saad is the founder and CEO and Mindfulness Consulting based in Vancouver, Canada. With the more than 6 years sales experience at various large corporations like PepsiCo Beverages and Maple Leaf Foods. She started her career after her bachelor degree in the Accelerated Sales Management program. After her successful career at Pepsi, she was recruited as the Customer Sales Development Manager at Maple Leaf Foods and was in charge of managing one of the largest corporate accounts for Western region. Farah is also an avid reader and keeps herself up to date about the spirituality. Farah's goal is to shift the corporate culture in the North America through making a mindfulness workshop in the daily life, at workplaces and at home. So I welcome you, ma'am,
Shukriya, Roshan, for the introduction. Thank you so much.
and let's get started with the workshop. But firstly, let us know about yourself, how you were grown up in the early age.
जी मैं एक्चुअली पाकिस्तान में भी पैदा हुई थी और फिर मेरी फैमिली मलेशिया मूव हो गई थी, तो मैंने उधर 5 साल रही हूँ। और फिर जब मैं 10 साल की थी मेरे पेरेंट्स वैंकूवर मूव हो गए, तो फिर जब से मैं वैंकूवर में रह रही हूँ। और मैंने अपने आप 2 जगह रही हुई हूँ अकेली। मैं इंडोनेशिया में थोड़ी देर रही थी अभी 2 साल पहले, और मैं स्कॉटलैंड में भी रही हुई हूँ 2 महीने। और I also stayed as well in Calgary. It's another city in Canada. So I lived there while I was working with Pepsi and Maple Leaf Foods.
बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के। इसके अलावा
Thank you.
इसके अलावा आप ये स्पिरिचुअलिटी की तरफ कैसे मूव ऑन किया आपने? आपका एक कैरियर ट्रैक जो था वो बिल्कुल ही डिफरेंट था।
जी तो जब मैं अपने सेल्स में करियर कर रही थी, I had a burnout. Like there was this point जब मैं बहुत exhausted हो गई थी, और क्योंकि sales काफी fast है और very aggressive है so there was a point where I had a burnout, और जब वो burnout होया मैं इतना बुरा था, I was kind of at this point मैं सोच like मैं बेड से भी नहीं उठ सकती थी, सुबह हर टाइम रो रही होती थी like, and 2 साल से मैं हर किसी को कह रही थी मैं अपनी जॉब क्विट करना चाहती हूँ और ट्रैवल करना चाहती हूँ, मगर उससे भी डर रही थी बहुत, like the idea of just quitting a good job, क्योंकि मेरी जॉब बहुत अच्छी थी. I had a really good boss. I had really good coworkers. So the idea of just letting something good go to just kind of embrace the uncertainty is scary, right? So जब ये burnout होया फिर मैंने सोचा, you know what, if I don't do something now, फिर कभी नहीं करूँगी. So I decided to take a leap of faith and I decided to travel. At the time, I booked a one-way ticket to Europe. मैंने बस सोचा मैं just जाऊँगी और देखूँगी क्या होता है. And during that trip, I started meeting other people who were kind of in the same boat. They were very unhappy with their life. They were tired. They were depressed. They were also trying to figure themselves out. So they also just took a break and they were traveling. And, and then they were sharing, they were a little bit ahead in their journey. So they started sharing with me their experience on how this trip helped them feel better. So फिर मैं कनाडा वापस आई, तो मैं 6 हफ्ते के लिए गई, फिर मैं कनाडा वापस आई और मैंने सोचा ठीक है अब मैं क्या एक और जॉब लूं और like travel करती रहूं. And truthfully, I actually had a job offer at the time, and I decided to not take the job offer. And I decided to go to Asia. And when I went to Asia, I was traveling through Southeast Asia. I went to Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Myanmar, सारी जगह. And while I was doing this trip, I started hearing about meditation and mindfulness. Then मैं जब Myanmar पहुंची, मैंने सुना ऐसे आप 10 10 दिन की silent meditation कर सकते हैं. So for 10 days आप किसी से नहीं बात करोगे, बस अपने आप में रहोगे. So I decided to try it, and after those 10 days, I noticed a big shift in, how I was feeling. My anxiety went down. I was more clear in my mind. I could think sharper. So I noticed such a large impact. I started practicing this on my own even after. And the more I practiced meditation, the more I discovered a shift in my life. It actually led me to then start my business, Be Kalm, because what happened then was जब मैं एशिया गई, मैं 7 महीने बाद वापस आई कनाडा, और मैं अपने like just acquaintances, दोस्तों के साथ उन्हें बताने लगी मेरा experience क्या था. And I noticed they started having a shift in their life because I would share with them like things that I learned. And so in 2018, मैंने सोचा मैं बाली move हो जाती हूँ, और उधर there were some healers, and they gave me an opportunity to come kind of observe them and see how they live and do things. And I learned a lot from that, that opportunity as well. And so as you can see, मैंने काफी uncertainty थी मेरी like जिंदगी में 4 साल से, क्योंकि I'm telling the stories over 4 years, क्योंकि अब 2020 में है. So for 2 years, मुझे नहीं पता था कि मैं क्या करूंगी अपने करियर के बाद. मैं बस ट्रस्ट कर रही थी जिंदगी को, अल्लाह से, जब से कि जो भी होएगा अच्छा ही होएगा. And alhamdulillah, it all worked out. And रोशन, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. आप आ रही है.
मैं ये कह रहा था कि आपको ये नहीं पता था कि आप किस तरफ जा रही हैं, आपकी डेस्टिनेशन क्या है, जस्ट आप मूव ऑन करना चाह रही थी उस लाइफ.
जी बिल्कुल. वही
जो कि काफी लोगों में ये करेज भी नहीं होती कि वो मूव ऑन कर सकें, एक फील्ड से बिल्कुल अपोजिट फील्ड को स्विच ऑफ करना.
जी, और मेरे लिए भी, मुझे भी बहुत डर लग रहा था. लाइक मेरे लिए भी ये आइडिया कि लाइक तुम ऐसे, अब जैसे अगर कोई पेरेंट अपनी बच्चों को बाहर ले जाता है पाकिस्तान से, उनके इसलिए लेकर जाते हैं क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं उनके बच्चे अच्छी एजुकेशन मिले, उनके बच्चों को अच्छी जॉब मिले. तो अगर ये दिस आइडिया इवन एज जो बच्चे हो तो जनरेशन की, और आई थिंक इन जनरल जहाँ पे भी हो, हर पेरेंट को ये चाहते हैं कि वो उनके पेरेंट उनके बच्चे पढ़ें और जॉब अच्छी करें किसी बड़ी कंपनी के साथ. Like I think that's what her parents सोचता है. So this idea of being an entrepreneur, this idea of like doing something different is scary, right? मेरे लिए भी scary था, क्योंकि मैं जब स्कूल में पढ़ी थी, स्कूल में सिर्फ आपको ये सिखाते हैं कि मैंने बिजनेस पढ़ा स्कूल में, यूनिवर्सिटी में मैंने बिजनेस पढ़ा, तो वो आपको ये सिखाते हैं लाइक आपका करियर अकाउंटिंग में हो सकता है, आपका करियर मार्केटिंग में हो सकता है, ये कंपनीज हैं, आप इनके साथ काम कर सकते हैं. Entrepreneurship, जब मैं graduate हो रही थी, it wasn't a big thing then. It was starting to come up, but it wasn't that big yet. And so if you were somebody who wanted to be an entrepreneur at the time, it was kind of like you were just kind of feeling it out, क्योंकि इतना resources अभी नहीं आए थे at the time. And this is मैं ये 12 साल पुरानी बात बता रही हूँ. So like at the time there weren't a lot of resources. आप of course like अगर आप entrepreneur बनना चाहते हैं, जब career भी change करना चाहते हैं, it's become very common, right? It's accepted. Like, and actually statistics show हमारी generation, because I think we're both in the same generation, हमारी generation 3-4 बार अपने career change करेगी. So like, yeah, and आपने भी शायद
आजकल इतने ज्यादा कैरियर हो गए हैं कि लोग जिधर देखते हैं कि हमें ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल रही हैं उसी तरफ स्विच कर जाते हैं.
जी exactly. तो ये कॉमन है. आप मगर पता नहीं 4 साल पहले, even for me, क्योंकि this idea was ludicrous. Like मैं सोच भी नहीं सकती थी कि मैं बस ऐसे जंप मारूंगी और अपनी बिजनेस शुरू करूंगी. अगर 3 साल पहले कोई मुझसे पूछता, oh like तुम क्या करोगी, I would have never thought like I would be starting my own business at the time. So I think like that's why I want to talk. I believe so much in change, especially right now, pandemic. I think a lot a lot of people have time now to think, you know, about their life. And because we're all sitting in isolation and you're kind of thinking, and of course, some people don't have a choice. They've been laid off. Some people have, you know, studies have been put on hold because har kuch band ho gaya or har kuch online ho gaya. So I feel this is like the perfect time to kind of do some self-reflection, figure out, you know, what is it that you really want to do with your life and like how to do it.
आज के जैसे आइसोलेशन चल रही है तो इसमें तो ज़्यादा मुश्किलात नहीं आ रही क्योंकि लोग इरिटेट हो रहे हैं, एक ही जगह पे बंद हैं, तो इसको कैसे ओवरकम करें?
जी, you know, बहुत अच्छा सवाल आपने पूछा है और बिल्कुल ऐसे ही हो रहा है. हर कोई अभी इरिटेट हो रहा है, एंजाइटी भी ऊपर जा रही है और काफी लोग ज्यादा काम भी करने लगे हैं क्योंकि वो कोई सेपरेशन नहीं है उनके डे जॉब से, क्योंकि यूजुअली लोग काम पे जाते हैं, घर आते हैं, एंड यू नो देन दे शट ऑफ, फिर वो अपनी फैमिली के साथ टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं. अब वो लोग बस खुद ही, you know, like you're spending all day at home, so you end up just working a lot. So you're definitely right. More people are actually spending time at home now and working even more. So this is a great segue, and I guess I could go into what are some things that you can do right now if you are in that boat of feeling burnt out, feeling overworked. And one of those things that you can do is I'm going to teach you a quick grounding technique. And okay, so first of all, the grounding technique is more just, this is if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, and anxiety usually hoti hai, like if you start thinking about the future too much, right? Kyunki aap agar notice karenge, aapki brain, like it goes into this different place when you start thinking about the future, and that causes your tension to rise, and the tension will feel like your heart rate going up. You know, you might feel sweaty, your brain might get foggy, you might have all these thoughts coming up. So if you're feeling these symptoms, this is anxiety, and the way to counter this is actually to take a few deep breaths in. So if you just want to close your eyes right now, get comfortable. And we're going to start off by taking 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth. And 1 more time, take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And I just allow your body to relax. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths in. अब आप slowly अपनी आंखें खोलें. Just take a second to bring your attention back to the present moment and wiggle your hands and your toes and just become present. So आपको कैसे feel किया जब आपने की? And I wanted to say, अगर आपके पास कोई questions है, please, you know, feel free to write it in the live comments, and I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the session. So as you can see, this is a very simple exercise, and if you did it along with me, I'm sure you're feeling a little bit more calmer and more at peace. And as you can see, it took 1 minute. So this is a very quick exercise you can do the next time you feel stress and anxiety at home, because obviously now हम पूरा दिन घर पे spend कर रहे हैं, हमारी कोई लोग हम, you know, अपनी families के साथ रह रहे हैं, so you know, our families could be a trigger हमें कर सकती है, or you know, and we feel overwhelmed and angry. So this is a quick grounding exercise you can do. Just 3 deep breaths. That's all we did. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Now, if you're reaching the point of burnout or you're having trouble separating your job from, like, you know, your home life, I say it's very important कि आप अपने लिए time limit set करें जब आप काम कर रहे हैं. Like, decide what that time is. Maybe it's from 9 to 5, it's from 10 to 6, whatever your time is. But as soon as that time ends, you know, like you need to actually step away from your desk, you know, and if you need to come back and dedicate 1 hour because your job is very demanding at like 8 p.m, ठीक है, आप वापस, you know, 1 घंटे के लिए 1 और hour dedicate कर सकते हैं. But I think right now the issue that a lot of people are having is because of the situation right now with COVID-19, a lot of people are scared of, one, losing their job because, we're literally entering a recession. So, people are worried like, okay, am I the one at risk for losing my job? So everyone's working even harder to prove, their worth and their value to their bosses. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think you got to be smart about it, right? Because agar aap 10-12 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं हर दिन, and as a result आपको नींद नहीं ठीक आ रही, आप अपनी फैमिली के साथ नहीं टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे, आप कुछ और भी नहीं कर रहे, फिर like you're gonna burn out, right? And I know sometimes the jobs are that demanding. I understand that. I've been there, but you still have to take care of yourself first before you do anything else. So it's really important कि आप अपने लिए भी time निकालें, So that's why I think it's really important to set up a workstation at home. Be very clear with your hours. This is the time I'm going to work. And then once you're done that time frame, walk away. So that's what I would recommend. Now, to actually get into this topic that we want to talk about today, about embracing change and resilience, I want to say, like, this is as mentioned earlier, it's a very good time right now to do some reflection on your life and to figure out, just how you can become the best version of yourself, right? I think this is a really good time to do that. So building some good habits to help you do that as well. So, kaise aap ye kar sakte hain? Like, the first place I say to start is if you're planning on doing some kind of change in your life, whatever that looks like, if I'll give the example of starting a business, because this is usually what I get asked a lot. Like, if somebody's looking to start a business, where do they start or how do they start? I say, do your research, figure out, is this something like that there's a market for? And if there is a market for it, then go talk to those people that would potentially buy your product. Unse baat kare, unse पूछें, like, okay, आपको क्या भी आप इस तरह की चीज खरीदते हैं, अगर नहीं खरीदते, कैसे आप, आप क्या different चाहते हैं? Like, talk to them and ask them these things. And the other thing I would recommend also is it's really important to first also ask yourself, right? Like, I think the question that I've been using this quarantine to ask myself a lot is, what is emerging for me? And the reason why I say ask yourself this, and before you even ask yourself this, do that breathing exercise I mentioned, ground yourself first, and then go into your heart, not your mind. I always say, this is like the ultimate question to ask yourselves. If there was no limitations or consequences for our life, what will your perfect day look like? And I want you to just be open. Again, there's no limitations, no consequences. And by limitations, I mean money isn't an issue. In terms of what you're doing isn't an issue. And consequences, I mean, obviously, aap ye nahi karen just se you can get in some kind of trouble where, it's dangerous or it puts other people in danger. That's what I mean by consequences. But if there was no limitations or consequences in your life, what would your perfect day look like? And when was the last time you even asked yourself this, right? So, aap apne aap se ye question पूछें, like, what would my perfect day look like? And write as freely as you want. I think writing is very powerful, and I actually do a lot of journaling myself. And you discover all kinds of things about yourself when you're journaling. So, bas likhein openly, or dekhein kya aata hai. The next thing to do also when you're embracing change is I actually have the 7 steps, right, process. So the first key is to become aware first of our thoughts. And the way you become aware of your thoughts, I say, ek din, like literally go through your day. Every time you have a thought come up, just write it down on a piece of paper. Every thought you have come up. Then at the end of the day, go through your thoughts and ask yourself, like, ye thought mere liye achhi hai ya buri hai? Like, is it good for my well-being or is it not? Agar wo thought aapke liye achhi nahi hai, then ask yourself, okay, like, मैं क्या अपने आप को बताना चाहता हूँ? Like, what's a positive thought that you can tell yourself? And then actually tell yourself that positive thought, right? Like, so the more you do this exercise, you'll bring awareness of your thoughts and you'll start noticing patterns that you have. Because we actually have the same 4 or 5 thoughts every day as a human being. When you actually start writing them down, you start noticing the same patterns. So it's really important to do this exercise. And the next step, once you become aware and become conscious of these thoughts, is to actually shift your mindset into a more positive state. So how do you shift your mindset into a more positive state? You appreciate the things that are actually happening in your life right now. So an example of this is, aapke paas abhi khana hai? Aapke paas abhi shelter hai? Like, you have a place to sleep under. Aapke paas achhe log aapke around hai. Like, these are all positive things that are in your life right now. So appreciate them. Because what gratitude does, this idea of being thankful. So gratitude is being thankful for things that are good in our life, right? That's what gratitude is. And what that is doing when you're when you're appreciating the good things in your life, what that does for you is it actually brings more good things into your life. And the reason behind, there's actually a science behind this, is because your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real, what isn't. So whatever we're telling our brain every day, that's what we become. So to become more positive, if you're telling yourself more positive things every day, what you're actually doing is releasing dopamine and serotonin into your body. And when you're doing that, it's actually shifting your mind as well. Okay, so somebody asked a question, how can we convert our energies into positive ones using meditation to perform better our jobs? Okay, so there's a couple of different ways to do this through meditation, but to switch your energy into a positive one, let's say you're in a really bad state, I say the best thing is to move. So even if it's just doing like 10 jumping jacks, because what you're doing is your body sometimes just needs to release that negative energy first, right? So it won't be per se for a meditation. It's actually through doing something active. If the energy is very strong, the negative energy, and you're kind of getting stuck in a really negative headspace. But on a daily basis, if you practice meditation every day, and meditation is breathing, right? Inhaling through our nose, exhaling through our mouth. If you practice that every day, over time, your mind will naturally get into a more positive state. And that's through gratitude as well, right? Gratitude is that thing that I just mentioned about being thankful for the good things in our life. So, but if you're looking for a quick fix in the moment, I say do something active, like do 10 jumping jacks, and then do that grounding exercise that I mentioned. Also, I know this sounds crazy, but literally take a pillow if you need to and put it against your face and scream into it. Just release whatever negative energy you have into that pillow. That's also another exercise I recommend, and it actually works. I've done it myself before. Sometimes you just need to let that negative energy out. But I hope that answers your question. The next thing I would also recommend is surrounding yourself around good, positive people, right? If you're noticing your headspace is very, if you are noticing that your headspace isn't in a good place, and I don't want to use the word negative, right? Because negative, like really what is good or bad? It's really our mind. So if you some thought that you're having is not good for you, it's sometimes good to like just go to somebody that you trust and talk it out. Now there's a difference, right? Agar aap har din ja rahe hain aur bas complain kar rahe hain about the same thing, but you're not actually doing anything to change, that's not helpful either. So you have to be very conscious, right? But if you're having just one bad day and like you really can't get yourself out of this bad mood, this is where you got to start, depending on your friend circle or somebody good, that is good for your mental health, and go talk to them, talk to them, explain to them how you're feeling, and actually just, talk it out. And the other reason why this is very important as well is because, the people that we surround ourselves with do have an impact on how we feel about ourselves. So if you have somebody, it's natural, right? Think about it. Agar aapke paas koi hai, and every day they're telling you, you're amazing, you're great, And you might not believe this about yourself, but if somebody's telling you that every day, you will start believing that about yourself. Versus if you're around somebody every day and they're telling you, oh, you don't know what you're doing, right? Then you will start believing you don't know what you're doing because this person has actually keeps telling you that every day. So the idea is like be conscious of the people that are around you when you're going through some kind of change, and be very conscious of who you even open up to and talk to, right? Because sometimes people are just talking. They don't actually know what is good for you. So that's why you have to be very conscious. आप जिससे भी बात करें. The next thing I want to talk about is loving yourself. So what do I mean? Love yourself. First of all, how many times like have you even told yourself, I love you? You tell your friends this, you tell your partners this, you tell your parents this, you tell your children this, but how many times do you tell yourself, I love you? And I know it sounds strange, right? Even me saying it out loud, like why would I tell myself I love myself? But trust me, I actually encourage you to do an exercise. I always get my clients to do this. Go stand in front of a mirror, make eye contact, and just tell yourself, I love you. It's the most vulnerable exercise you will do. At first, you might not even be able to make eye contact with yourself. But the more you keep doing it, within 2 weeks, you'll start noticing a shift in how you're feeling. And you will start noticing like even your whole body, your mind, your posture will change. The way you feel in your mind will change. It's a very powerful exercise. And it's just 3 different words. I love myself. I love you.
Wow. It will really work.
Sorry?
ये काम करेगा जैसे कि I love you. तो अपने आप को ही कहना.
Gee, I know it sounds crazy, right? कोई हमसे कहता नहीं है कि like I know the idea sounds crazy कि अपने आप से हम कहें I love you. क्योंकि कोई नहीं हमें ये सिखाता ना ये like why क्यों तुम अपने आप को क्यों कहोगे I love you. But think about it. हम इस जिंदगी में अकेले आते हैं. Like if you think about it, unless maybe you had a twin or triplet, okay, fine. You didn't come into this world alone. But majority of us, you come into this world alone, right? And you die alone. So why would you not build a good relationship with yourself? We're always building a relationship with everyone else, but we forget to build a good relationship with ourselves. And just like with everyone else, we have to build a relationship with our inner selves. Because yes, we have an inner self, we have a soul, we have a root, right? And you have to connect that part, your heart and your mind, that those 2 things together. And that the way to do that is by, practicing these affirmations that I'm talking about, like I love myself, I love you. And there's other affirmations you can say as well, like I am statements. So saying things like I'm confident, I am strong, I am powerful, I am happy, I'm positive, I am loved, I'm secure. So these are some of these different affirmations you can say as well.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही होता है. एक बंदा कॉन्फिडेंस महसूस करता है जब ये अपने आप से कहता है. अगर कोई और करे ना करे पसंद नहीं करता, मैं खुद तो अपने आप को करता ही हूँ.
That's good. And आप कैसे feel like आप कैसे feel करते हैं जब आप करते हैं ये? Like after आप कैसे करते हैं? Like अगर आप explain कर सकते हैं हर किसी को.
जब बंदा खुद अपने आप मिरर में देखता है तो कुछ और तो सामने नहीं होता. अपने पर्सनैलिटी को देखता है, मैं ही हूँ सब कुछ और मैं हर काम कर सकता हूँ और कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो मुझे रोकेगी, तो लोगों की परवाह मैं क्यों करूँ. So let's move on with the own self.
Yeah. Thank you, Roshan. आपने वो example share किया, and that's exactly it, right? क्योंकि end of the day हम ही तो कर सकते हैं. Like कोई हमारा हाथ थोड़ी पकड़ेगा. Of course, people will. Eventually, they will. But आपको first step खुद ही लेना पड़ेगा ना, and then people come.
जहाँ पे पाकिस्तानी सोसाइटी का ये अलमिया भी है, जब कोई बंदा नया काम करना चाहता है तो उसकी लेग पुलिंग बहुत होती है कि तुम ये नहीं कर सकते. शुरू में ही उसे बिठा दिया जाता है. उसका जो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल थोड़ा सा ऊपर आता है स्टार्टिंग करने का, लेकिन वो वहीं पे ही दफन हो जाता है. तो इसको भी हमें ओवरकम करना है.
और ये सिर्फ पाकिस्तान में नहीं है, ये हर जगह है. And I think it's natural, right? Because I think जब आप कुछ अलग सा कर रहे हैं, बहुत लोगों को समझ नहीं आता आप कर क्या रहे हैं क्योंकि उनके पास शायद एक्सपीरियंस नहीं हो ऐसी चीज में तो because people don't have their experience and I've noticed sometimes people also project their own fear कोई लोग बस खुद ही डरते हैं ऐसी चीज करने से तो वो अपना फियर आपके ऊपर डाल देते हैं कि वो क्योंकि वो खुद ही सोचते हैं मैं तो नहीं ऐसे कर सकता तो वो
एग्जैक्टली
ऑटोमेटिकली आपके ऊपर भी यही समझते हैं कि ओ ये भी नहीं कर सकता अगर मैं नहीं कर सकता ये क्यों करेगा I've noticed that's the issue actually.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही होता है जो
Yeah.
खुद नहीं कर सकता वो दूसरों को भी नहीं करने देता
Gee, exactly. And I think that's why it's so important, right? This is why talking to yourself, because I've noticed when you're starting something new sometimes, किसी को नहीं समझ आती. Like when I was starting my business, thankfully by then, my mom and my family was on board. But when I wanted to move to Bali to kind of just understand mindfulness and meditation, my family didn't understand. They thought I was crazy. They were like, why tum bas Bali ja rahi ho or ye kya ye meditation seekh rahi ho ye kya hai? You know, at the time they thought I was like they didn't understand. So
बिल्कुल
I think after that experience, and I was scared. I was very scared at the time. But मेरे दिल में बस मैंने अपने दिल की आवाज सुनी और दिल ने बस ये कहा नहीं तुम जाओ and after I went I mean I'm glad when I came back like you know मेरी अम्मी ने फिर कहा okay I noticed a difference in you I see now why you did this and then she became supportive but for 4 months I was alone like nobody understood in my life what I was doing हर कोई समझता मैं पागल हो गई हूँ like you know
और ये आपकी हिम्मत है भाई
Gee, and that's why sometimes that's why these affirmations, these things that I'm talking about, loving yourself, that's why it's so important. Because I believe there's always going to be a point in life, जिंदगी में जब किसी को नहीं समझ आएगी आप क्यों कर रहे हो जो भी आप कर रहे हैं. And that's why it's so important in that moment to just trust your intuition, trust your heart, and just and you know follow your path. And that's why, and it takes practice, right? Even these loving yourself, it's a practice, it's a daily practice. Just like you build a relationship with your friends, you build a relationship with your partner, you build a relationship with your parents, you also have to build a relationship with yourself. It's very, very important. And which actually brings me to the next thing, which is self-care. So what do I mean by self-care? Self-care is this idea that you're taking time out of your day for yourself, right? And you can do this multiple different ways. आप अपना favorite खाना बना सकते हैं और खा सकते हैं. आप sleep in, like get extra sleep. If you notice you're really, really tired on the weekend, sleep in. It means spending time with people that make you happy. So like it could be your family, it could be your friends. The other thing also is, you know, actually taking a long shower if that's, you know, or going for, I know we can't all go for a walk yet, but if you can, even around your block, like, you know, just getting some fresh air, get out, get some fresh air. And sometimes this also just means binge watching TV. If you're having a really bad day, and I've had this where, you know, I'm just exhausted, I'm really tired, I just binge watch TV and I eat chocolate because chocolate makes me happy. So whatever that self-care looks like, just do that. So, you know, it's very important that we keep doing that. And the last thing I want people to remember is like, do your best. Your best in each moment is going to shift, right? And especially right now, ये जो pandemic हो रहा है, like ये pandemic, I think is testing all of us in many ways. Whether you realize it or not, it is. And it's testing us because think about it, when in our life have we had to spend 2-3 months just at home? Like, you know, we don't get this time. And so every day, your best is going to look different, right? One day you might wake up and you're feeling really good and you're super productive at work. And you know, you have a great day with your family. Another day you wake up, you have a migraine, you're having, you know, everyone in your family's angry, and it's just a really frustrating day. the key is that the only thing that's real is this present moment. So whenever I'm having these days, I remind myself this moment is all that I have. So I'm going to make the best of this moment. And if that best in that moment, let's say I have a migraine, if that best is, just finishing one task because it's important and then sleeping, that's my best that day. If my best, I'm having a great day and my best is I can get 5 things done, go for a walk, spend time with my family, great. So you got to figure out what's your best in each moment, and that's going to change. And I want you to remember that. So don't be hard on yourself if you're having a really bad day and you're struggling with, just getting by. So just kind of remember that. So these are some of the things that I would recommend doing, just to build a more positive mind headspace, more gratitude. So being thankful for the things in our life, affirmations, telling yourself, I love myself. I'm positive, I'm strong, I'm confident. These are all affirmations. And on YouTube, if you even just, Google affirmations meditations, there's a bunch that come up on YouTube. And then I would also recommend, becoming aware of our thoughts. So recognizing what we're thinking every day, if you need to, write them down. And self-care. So like doing things that make you happy right now. That's really, really important. Find those things and do those things. And do your best, whatever that looks like in each moment, because that's going to change, right? So these are some things that I would recommend. So I want us to actually try to do a meditation together now. I just want to teach you, what that could look like. And this is a grounding exercise that I do with people. So if wherever you are right now, just get comfortable. You don't have to be sitting on the floor. If you're sitting on a bed, just lay down. If you're sitting on a chair, just lean back into your chair. Just find whatever's comfortable for you. If it feels comfortable, put your hands on your legs, on the side. Just get into a comfortable position. Close your eyes. And again, we're going to start off by taking 3 deep breaths in. So we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We're going to do that 2 more times. Take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And 1 more time, take another deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Now, I want you to imagine there's this energy coming up from the ground, right? Because wherever you are right now, whether you're laying down or you have your feet planted on the ground, just visualize the earth beneath the floor that you're on. So if you're on the bed, visualize the floor, go beneath the floor, just feel the earth. Just feel the earth ground you. Feel the weight of your feet, your body against wherever you are right now. And tell yourself, I'm grounded. I am grounded. I am grounded. And as you're visualizing these words to yourself, visualize that energy moving through your feet, up your legs, through your thighs, your glutes, up your spine, your neck, through the top of your head, all the way to the top. And just continue to tell yourself, I'm grounded. Allow that energy to just move through you. Just observe it. And if you find it hard and you observe any thoughts come up, just acknowledge the thoughts and go back to your feet and that energy and grounding yourself through that energy. When you feel ready, I want you to slowly start opening your eyes and bringing your attention back to the present moment. Just take a second to get comfortable and breathe and bring your attention back. How did that make everyone feel? Okay, so I do have a couple of questions here from different people, so I'm going to just take the next 15 minutes to answer these. But yeah, Rashan, I'm curious, how was your experience doing that exercise if you were able to do it with me?
बहुत ही अच्छा फील हो रहा था जब ये सब कर रहे थे, आंखें बंद, और अपने आप से अच्छा महसूस किया। ओवरऑल जो था एक्सपीरियंस, एक इनर इनर सुकून जो होता है ना, सुकून सा, वो चीज फेल्ट हुई।
जी, वही, or like, you know, it's a very simple exercise, but हमें 3-4 minute लगे, and that's why I love doing it, right? क्योंकि वही सुकून आ जाता है और फिर आप थोड़े, you know, खुले दिमाग से सोच सकते हैं from a more restful place, from a more calm place, versus just kind of, you know, if you're feeling stressed, continuing to feel stressed, right? क्योंकि फिर कुछ बनता भी नहीं है। So.
बिल्कुल। और ये जो मेडिटेशन है, ये तो बिल्कुल सिंपली एक जगह पे बैठ के हो सकती है, लेकिन जो सोचते हैं कि हमें कहीं बाहर खुले आसमान में होनी चाहिए, तो ये क्या कंसेप्ट?
Gee, no, thank you. That's such a good question that you ask. And I want to address that, right? There's very many different types of meditations, actually. This is just one of them. And this is like a grounding exercise. The one I did earlier was just breathing. And there's actually even deeper breath work that you can do to release things. But that I recommend doing with somebody who's trained in it, because when you do the deeper breath work, which is all with your breath, you're like, what you're doing is you're oxygenating your body. And when you're oxygenating your body, what happens is we store tension and pain in our bodies. So that pain surfaces, that tension surfaces. So people often start laughing, people often start crying, people often get angry. And it's a really fascinating experience if you're doing it with a group of people, like if you have 10, 15 people, because you'll hear people laughing in the room, you'll hear people crying, you'll hear people like shout. But what that's doing is people are just releasing whatever they're feeling. Now, that exercise I mentioned earlier about screaming into a pillow, like taking a pillow and just screaming into it, that's one way to do that, right? So let's say you're trying to sit down and you're trying to meditate and you notice a lot of thoughts are coming up. Or आपकी thoughts आपके like दिमाग से जा रही नहीं है, but like you feel trapped, right? Sometimes what you have to do is literally take a pillow, visualize like those thoughts almost like floating ahead or something, and then like while you're screaming into a pillow, visualize those thoughts leaving your body. Like imagine like it's just kind of out. And what you'll notice sometimes it'll work, and sometimes those thoughts might not go away right away. I'll be honest. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries, a couple of days. So but the key is you got to set the intention to release these negative thoughts, release this resistance that you're feeling in your body. And if you feel to actually tell yourself, I'm willing to release this resistance. Okay, so I'm going to try to answer some of these questions here. Meruz asked, how does a person stay sane mentally in such a pandemic? How do you keep your thoughts aligned? So I think that's where it's really important to build a daily practice, right? So gratitude is a really powerful one. So I'll give a little bit of a more explanation of how you can practice gratitude daily. So the way I do it is right before I go to sleep, when I'm laying in bed, I just kind of go through my day and I think about all the good things that happened that day. So today I'll probably say it's sunny in Vancouver. So I'll say it's a sunny day, it's warm. I'll talk about this session, how this opportunity to do a session with Pakistan Tech Summit. I'll talk about, just having a really good family who's been very supportive. So just go through your day about all the good things that happened in your day, right? It could even be the food you ate. If that food made you feel good, be appreciative of that good food that you ate. That's where you gotta, I think build a daily practice. Now, if you're starting off with gratitude, I also recommend keep a gratitude journal. So in the morning, first thing in the morning, when you wake up, write down 3 things you're grateful for. And then if you feel up for it, do it at night too. If you feel you can only do it at one point, commit to a time. So whether that's morning or evening, take some time to write down 3 things that you're grateful for in your gratitude journal. And there's ones that you can purchase online as well if but honestly, you can even just write in your own journal. You don't need to purchase something formal. Just write gratitude for today, 1, 2, 3, and write them out, whatever those gratitudes are. The other thing, as I mentioned, affirmations, right? So telling yourself, I love myself, taking the time to constantly put good thoughts in your mind. Now, at the beginning, I know this is very hard to do. I understand that. I've been there, especially looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself these things when you're really not feeling good. But I promise you, if you keep doing this exercise, it does work. Now, there's also the power, like our subconscious mind is very powerful too, right? And it's our emotional mind, and it has a mind of its own. So the way you can impact your subconscious mind, and this is where you can actually listen to affirmations. So it's somebody else literally saying affirmations to you. And if you YouTube affirmations meditations, there's so many on there. And it's literally people repeating, I'm positive, I love myself, I am strong, I'm confident. Like there's ones on different topics as well. Like you can type affirmations for building confidence. And then you will get all of like these different YouTube videos on it, like affirmations for building positivity. The other thing that really helps me that I do before bed is I listen to very relaxing music in the background. It helps me sleep. And honestly, it's just off YouTube. I just type in stress relief music, and then, or I'll type in flute playing in the background. And so there's a bunch of different music options, but I've noticed that really helps me, listening to something in the background to help me sleep as well. So I hope that helps. And again, some of those self-care things that I talked about in my conversation, they will also help as well. Like it's very important right now to not be hard on yourself, and just, if you're having a day where the thoughts are very scattered, write them down. Write down all those thoughts that you're having and just list them out, whatever comes up, and just see what it is. And that will help as well. The other question was, you've seen different cultures in your experience. Does your family support help with better mental health, or do isolated societies have a better system? That's a very good question. रोशान, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं?
नहीं, अभी आप कहें।
अच्छा,
आपकी टर्न।
I wanted to, honestly, it's a really good question. And I'll answer it 2 parts, okay? Obviously, if we have a good family support system, naturally as humans, we are social beings. So if we naturally have that, yes, it helps. Now, in reality, let's be real. There's always going to be a time when your family is going to drive you crazy. And they're not going to be able to, understand you in that moment. And that's okay. That's, that's okay. Of course, this will impact your mental health. And I've been there. I've had times where my family understands everything I'm doing and they're very supportive. And then there's other times where they don't understand. And I've experienced both. So I've lived alone on my own for 6 years. And, without my family, I was in a different country altogether, sometimes a different city. And truthfully, isolation also doesn't work. You're just running away from it. And truthfully, in those moments, I actually didn't feel like I would rely on my friends a lot, who became my family. So this idea that the isolated system is a better system, no, it's not. So how do you solve this whole issue? I think it's about figuring out what works for you, because everyone's different, right? And over the years, as you evolve, what you're going to need is going to change as well. So right now, maybe being close to your family is, let's say, not good, because they are the ones who are triggering you the most. But you might not have the option to get away either. So what do you do in that situation, right? I think what I recommend in that situation is actually, building practices where the external isn't triggering you and being very clear with your boundaries. So how do you set boundaries with somebody? You first, figure out what is it that you need, right? And once you figure out what it is that you need, you then actually communicate that to that family member. So I'll give an example. Like right now I'm living with my mom and my sister, and we're all very different personalities, right? And so I was living on my own for almost 6 years, and then I moved back in with my mom. So it was very hard because I got so used to doing things my own way and practicing things my own way. Now I'm coming into an environment where somebody does things differently, right? Even if it means just the way the kitchen is organized, the way the plates are. And for me, I've learned, if I can't control the external, I control my internal feelings, right? And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you can't control the external environment that you're in, but what you can control is your internal feelings about it, right? And of course, it's not going to be perfect. There's days where you will get triggered. There's days I get triggered by my family. I feel upset by something that they do. But then I think what I've learned to do is not be so hard on myself or my family member, because you have to understand during this pandemic, everyone's kind of in a very uncomfortable situation. Nobody's used to being home all the time. So there are going to be days where you might get a little upset, or your loved one might get a little upset about something, right? So that's where it's very important. I don't think there's a right or a wrong with this. I think it's about figuring out what do you need and how can you find a way to build that right now, right? And if you can't right now, just accept that then, right? And then build a plan to build that space for yourself where you do feel good. Because it's not so much about the family support system or the other system, the isolated societies are better. No, scientifically, it's actually proven we actually function better when we're around people that love us, and vice versa, when we can love other people, because naturally as human beings, we're social beings. So, yeah. The other, sorry, Roshan, आपने कुछ बोलना है?
जी बिल्कुल, यहाँ पे मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा कि जहाँ पे अक्सर लोग जो है ना, वो ये कहते हैं कि जो फॉर्चून है उसके साथ फेलियर या सक्सेस को एसोसिएट कर देते हैं कि ये हमारे साथ जो हुआ ये किस्मत में लिखा था। तो ये जो बिहेवियर है इसको कैसे ओवरकम करें?
Yeah. I think हम इतना अपनी जिंदगी and and this not just there. I think this is where हर कोई कहता है I think there's a fine line between हम अपनी जिंदगी को accept करें or actually and then there's a part of it is you actually try to change and become a better person, right? क्योंकि जिंदगी में yes कभी बार चीजें होती हैं जो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होती, or that idea कि ये बस मेरी जिंदगी में लिखा था. हाँ, कोई चीजें ऐसे लिखी होती हैं, but the difference is अगर आप उसी story में फंस जाए or and start thinking मेरी पूरी जिंदगी बुरी है, that's when it's that fine line gets very thick. So I don't think acceptance is saying oh, this is my life and I can't do anything. I think acceptance is you recognize, okay, this didn't go well, but what can I do to not let this happen again to me, because that part is in our control. Because we are meant to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes in life as humans. We're human. We can't help that. But I think the difference is you learn from it and then you change your action to actually
एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए और उसे सीख के आगे मूव ऑन करना चाहिए ना.
Exactly. And I think हमारी society में क्या होता है, हम कभी बार फंस जाते हैं, like अपने past में, like you know, and I don't want to say ये सिर्फ हमारी society. I've noticed this with people everywhere. I think it's sometimes you just, this is called trauma, right? Trauma ये होता है कि आपके साथ कुछ होए और आप उसी में फंस जाते हैं, क्योंकि आपकी body में like वही बात फंस जाती है, वही feelings फंस जाती हैं. Now, अगर ये आपके साथ हो रहा है, like I recommend, there's a bunch of different things you can do. And there's a really good book. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Check it out. And the idea is that our subconscious mind like is made up of our emotional mind, right? And us as human beings, by the age of 35, we kind of like who we are as a person is based on everything that happened before. So before that, like, it's not to say like if you're past that age you can't change, or if you're before that age, you know, sometimes people just get stuck, and the way out of it is to like consciously go in. So it's a practice, and you need like a therapist, or you need somebody who's trained in this to actually walk you through it. But the practice is to go into your subconscious mind, find out what that situation was. And a lot of times for a lot of people, it's something in their childhood or something in their early years. And then you have to rewire that thought and the way to rewire is to create that feeling of positivity when you feel connected to yourself. Like, so when we did that meditation where we're feeling good, we're feeling grounded, getting into that space. And that's why affirmations and gratitude are so powerful, because over time, if you're practicing these things, because your mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what isn't, your mind will start shifting to the positive the more you practice these things. So
next question from Harish Shamsi.
Farah, thanks for an amazing talk so far. Thank you very much, Haris. In regards to your point of loving one's own self or self-praising, there's a very blurry line between self-praising for good and self-praising to a level where you start disregarding other opinion. How do you balance this out? Yes, that's very true. And I think the way I always explain this, right? Because people are always like, oh, isn't that egotistical if you're like just telling yourself these affirmations and you think so great of yourself? The truth of the matter is a lot of us don't think very highly of ourselves. Majority of people in life aren't like actually think they can't do things. So I think this is the fact that you're even asking this question shows that you recognize this, because if you weren't that type of person, you wouldn't ask this question. That's number one. Two, I think, you know, the line between, I always say the line between like knowing if something is like, you know, if it's self-praising to a level where you're disregarding others' opinions, you have to be conscious, who is that opinion coming from and how much does it matter to you, right? Because sometimes people are just going to say things like I mentioned earlier because they're projecting their own fears onto you. And like the human state, like our core state is love. Like at the core of all of us, even like the biggest criminal, like at the core of all of us, we are loving human beings. That is our core state, you know? So anyone that, you know, that might say otherwise, I think it's very then like that person needs to do, like, it's important to then be very conscious of like, why do you think that person keeps saying that to you? If you notice a pattern, like where 5 different people are saying the same thing to you, okay, start paying attention. But if it's this one person in your life, usually it's that one person, and it's because they're projecting their own insecurities and their fears onto you, then you got to ask yourself how much of their opinion actually matters to you, right? I hope that makes sense.
Next question from Umar Farooq. How positive statements act in stressful situations?
How positive statements act in stressful situations. Okay. The thing with being in a stressful situation is when you're in a stressful situation, I'll give an example, right? So before we started this webinar, we were having some technical issues, and
Exactly.
and like Roshan, right? Like
Yeah.
and I noticed we were also calm. Like we were like, you know what? Plan B, this doesn't work out. We do this, right? And
बिल्कुल.
and I think that's because majority of the people right now who are running this, including myself, we all try to practice some kind of positivity in our life. We just go with the flow, and we trust that whatever is happening, it's happening. You know, whatever's happening, just let it flow and do your best in that moment. Because if we all started stressing out and we're like, oh my god, the webinar's starting and this isn't working, then what would have that done? Like we would have just like been going around in
Just
circles.
a panic situation.
Gee,
जस्ट एक पैनिक सिचुएशन होती, कोई
gee,
सोल्यूशन ना होता.
gee, exactly. But the fact that we were all calm, we were all like, okay, you know what, we'll figure it out, and it will work out. And it did. It did. Everything worked out. Everything started working. Everything worked out. So that's where I think the more you're practicing positivity in your life, the more you're practicing gratitude, you're naturally going to be in a more positive state, right? And when you're in a stressful situation, you're going to react differently than if you're in a not in a good headspace, because then you're just going to keep panicking. You're going to keep freaking out. But what is that going to do? Nothing.
So next question from Riaz Ahmed: How to differentiate between meditation and mindfulness?
Yeah, thank you, Riaz. That's a really good question. So mindfulness is the practice of being self-aware of your mind and body in the present moment. And what meditation does is actually helps you to build that awareness in your mind and your body through breath. So that's what the difference is between the two and how the two work and tie in together. So the more you meditate, the more it helps you become more aware of your body, the more it helps you become more mindful as a person, because mindfulness is more the practice of just being in the present moment.
बिल्कुल. जस्ट हमारा टाइम भी खत्म होने वाला है.
जी.
तो लास्ट क्वेश्चन मैं करता हूँ आपसे.
Okay, ठीक है.
एक जो इंसान होता है उसके दिमाग में इतने सारे ख्यालात आते रहते हैं, इतनी सोचें आती हैं कि ये करे वो करे, तो उसे अपनी सोच के साथ कंसिस्टेंट कैसे होना चाहिए कि उस सोच को लॉन्ग टर्म लेके चले. कुछ होते हैं कि ख्याल आया निकाल दिया चला गया, उस पर काम नहीं करते. लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग एक ही थॉट पे कैसे हो सकती है?
और आपका जब आप ये आपके पास ये थॉट होती है, ये क्या आप कोई प्रोजेक्ट करना चाहते हैं, क्या कैसी टाइप ऑफ थॉट है?
किसी भी तरह की लाइफ को लेके, कैरियर के हवाले से, पर्सनल लाइफ, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ.
Okay. Okay, I'll answer this two ways because I'm understanding this question two ways, right? अगर आपके पास positive thought है, like for example, आप कोई नया business idea है, जहाँ आप कोई book लिखना चाहते हैं, जहाँ आप कोई podcast शुरू करना चाहते हैं, examples, right? और आप अगर ये बार-बार ये idea आ रहा है, मगर आप कोई action नहीं ले रहे, focus on just that next step. What is that next step you need to take? So if that next step, let's say you want to start a podcast, next step is find out how can you record a podcast. Just Google that, right? फिर आपको अगर पता चल जाए, आप उस पर register कर दें, उस platform पे, जो भी वो platform है. ये एक solution है. So just focus on our next step. I think what happens is when we have this idea or this thought and it keeps coming up but we don't take action, it's because हम डरते हैं. क्योंकि हम 10 steps के बारे में सोचने लगते हैं, क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं मैं इधर से उधर कैसे पहुंचूंगा, like, you know, and then you start thinking I can't do this is too much, like, you know, like think about you're starting a business.
स्टेप नहीं चलते.
जी,
स्टेप बाय स्टेप नहीं चलते, वो फाइनल डेस्टिनेशन तक पहुंच जाते हैं.
exactly. तो इसलिए I think it's just important to focus on your next step. फिर आपने वो step कर लिया, फिर आप next step का सोचें. Of course, आपको end destination तो पता है. आपको पता है आपने बस आपको वो छोटे-छोटे steps लेने हैं उससे reach करने के लिए. I'll give an example. When I was starting my business, I would always get stuck. Every time I had to write a business plan, I just like I couldn't do it. Like literally my mind would procrastinate, every other thing would come up, and it was my fear. I was scared because I was like, oh my God, like, can I really do this? It was scary, right? This idea of doing something that was so different from my career. So I think it's very important to actually just be very conscious of like just thinking about your next step. So, you know, whenever somebody asks me, how can I start something? I say, always focus on your next step. Now, I want to answer this from a negative perspective as well, because sometimes negative thoughts get stuck in our head too. And we keep repeating those thoughts. Now, if that's the case, I want you to write down this thought, look at it, and then write down what would you tell yourself differently? And then write that down right underneath it. Or how would you reword that? And if it helps, think about what your best friend or your mom or dad, like somebody positive in your life, what that person would say to you. And then write that down. That's what I recommend.
So here is again question from Riaz Ahmed.
How to deal with the statement if this startup or our decision fail or go wrong? So, you know, this idea of failure fascinates me. Like, you know, this idea that we think we're failing at something, like, if you think about it, where does that even start? Like this idea, what is actually failure? Like, because if you're doing something, you're learning. And every time you do something new, you're learning something new. So this idea that you're going to fail, okay, fine. Your first startup fails. But think about all the things that you learned along the way of building that startup. So now when you start another project, you're even faster, even better at it. Versus if you didn't do it at all because you were so scared of the failure. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Rome took a long time to build. So I always think about that. Like, you know, this idea of failure only exists in our mind, and it's something that's not real. We just convince ourselves that it's real. But really, if you're doing something, you're always learning, you're always growing, and you're getting better as a human being. And that's life, right? It's the journey that counts. It's not the end destination, because you'll get to the end destination.
So अब हम अपने काम को पहुंचते हैं और ये बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन था हमारे लिए बहुत सी नई चीज़ें सीखने को मिली जैसे कि मेडिटेशन हो माइंडफुलनेस हो गया बहुत सी चीज़ें और ये आम लाइफ में भी काम आती हैं ये नहीं कि कुछ अर्से के लिए आओगे लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए एंड थैंक यू फॉर मैम फॉर providing us such a nice session.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope this was helpful. And honestly, just be patient with yourself, everyone. I know this is a weird time right now. Just be kind to yourself. Honestly, that's all I would like leave with saying. Be kind to yourself, please. Don't be so hard on yourself wherever you are right now in life. Just be thankful, appreciate it, and enjoy your life.
Thank you so much, and have a good time.
Thank you. You too. Allah Hafiz. Hafiz.